Former 1MDB Director Tan Sri Ismee Ismail reiterated that he believed that Datuk Seri Najib Razak had wanted to push through a 5 billion ringgit bond at 1MDB's previous iteration despite some internal hesitation. To clarify, before it was 1MDB, the troubled sovereign fund's previous incarnation was the Terengganu Investment Authority under the purview of Terengganu's Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin. However, Ismee also told the court that he may have had the wrong impression concerning the 5 billion Islamic medium-term notes bond based on the outcome of Najib's meeting with Sultan Mizan several days later after the TIA board's decision to suspend the bond issuance. Ismee, a director of both TIA and 1MDB, during his cross-examination by Najib's lawyer, Datuk Hariharan Tarasing, was shown a letter stating that Najib had agreed to delay the issuance of the bonds pending due diligence. Ismee had testified before that Najib had been pushing for the bonds to be issued despite Sultan Mizan and other board members objecting to it. This was communicated to both Ismee and TIA Director Datuk Sharul Azral Ibrahim Helmi on May 22, 2009. Ismee said that he and Sharul had then been asked to be at Najib's house the same day and that the first thing the then PM asked was why the two of them had signed the board resolution to suspend the bond and why they had not asked the Terengganu ruler for time to think. Upon showing Ismee this purported letter, Hariharan then asked him if Najib had indeed wanted the bond issuance to proceed. Later, during the cross-examination, Ismee replied that maybe my assumption was wrong. Sharul had previously testified that Najib had instructed him to push through the IMTN issuance despite signing the resolution to suspend it. Najib is currently facing 25 counts of money laundering and abuse of power for allegedly misappropriating billions in dirty money from 1MDB. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz has denied speculation that he has resigned from his post. In a Facebook post, Zafrul explained his absence in Parliament during Minister's question time at the Dewan Rakyat on Thursday morning was due to him dealing with personal matters. The Finance Minister issued the statement to clarify Utusan Malaysia's report that he had resigned as he was not present to table the Supplementary Supply Bill 2021. The SSB was tabled this morning by Deputy Finance Minister 1 Dato' Indira Muhammad Shah Abdullah in Parliament. Speculation of his resignation was rife as Zafrul once told the media that he was ready to resign on any decision affecting his ministry that he believes is wrong. In the post, he said on the issue of his absence from Parliament during the MQT session, he clarified that there were some personal emergencies that had to be taken care of this morning, a matter that was already communicated yesterday. Zafrul adds that he has no intention of not fulfilling his responsibility as Minister of Finance and answering questions. According to the standard procedure for MQT, only the ministers can give answers according to Zafrul, adding that this is not the first time that a minister has been asked to read out the answers of another minister. EcoWorld Development Group's net profit for the first quarter of FY22 ticked up year-on-year to 63.4 million from 62.4 million posted in the previous year's corresponding quarter on the back of 128 billion ringgit in sales. Revenue for the quarter grew by 5% to 533.4 million thanks to cost savings on completed and near completion phases. President and CEO Datuk Chang Kim Hwa says sales in all three geographic regions grew strongly as compared to the same time last year, with the highest percentage of increases recorded by its projects in Iskandar, Malaysia, followed by its projects in Penang. He says that over the last 2 years, the property developer had been working to expand its product mix and customer base with a focus on attracting new home buyers and young families that form the bedrock for the long-term growth of townships. Chung adds that the cessation of the government's home ownership campaign at end 2021 did not have any noticeable impact on its sales momentum that continued to be sustained throughout January to February. He says that EcoWorld's launches over the last few months are geared towards serving the needs of the aspirational home buyer looking to upgrade. Sarwa Consolidated Industries has appointed Noor Azri Azarai, Shamsul Anwar Ahmad Ibrahim and Koo Chong Hon as independent directors on its board, according to filings with Bursa Malaysia. SCIB said 23-year-old Noor Azri is experienced in corporate finance and investment in equity and commodity derivatives during his stint with M&A Securities and Maybank IB. Noor Azri is currently an executive director in Bintai Kingdom Corp and Malaysian Genomics Resource Centre, as well as an independent non-executive director in NWP Holdings and troubled oil and gas firm Serba Dynamic Holdings. Koo, whose background is in auditing, is also on Bintai Kingdom's board as an executive director and as an independent non-executive director on the boards of MGRC and NWP. Meanwhile, Shamsul Anwar is currently serving as Group Corporate Affairs GM of Pemodalan ASSAR, the holding company of Amanah Saham Sarawak. He also sits on the board of Transnational Insurance Brokers. Koo has also been appointed as chairman of SCIB's audit committee, along with Shamsul Anwar and Abdul Hadi Abdul Kadir, who have been appointed as committee members. Shamsul has been appointed as the chairman of the group's risk committee, while Noor Azri and Muhammad Nazri Matnoor were appointed as its members following the resignation of Sudirman Aini as chairman of the committee. Abdul Hadi has also taken over as chairman of SCIB's nomination and remuneration committee, taking over from Serba Dynamic MD and CEO Datuk Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah, with Noor Azri and Shamsul Anwar being appointed as members. CIMB Research has maintained its underweight rating on the telecommunications sector after the government decided to continue with the 5G single wholesale network with an equity participation option for the mobile network operators. The research house says this may potentially be positive for MNOs if they are able to better steer Digital Nasional Berhad's 5G rollout to lower the total costs, wholesale fees and earnings impact. CIMB says that with a 70% stake, MNOs also gain greater assurance that DNB will continue to be well managed in the long term. The research house works out that with the MNO's presence in the driver's seat, it could help in lowering the current total cost of 16.5 billion and raise the proportion of leasing from MNO-owned sites. This, coupled with lower reliance on debt, DNB may be able to cut the 5G wholesale fees and change the charging structure to be more traffic-based. CIMB says it would hit the MNO's earnings less, while any share of DNB's net losses will only be accounted for via a reduction in the investment value in the MNO's balance sheets. The research house is keeping its call for now, as many details are still pending the government's negotiations with the MNOs, with its top pick being Telekom Malaysia.